Open grazing of cattle is continuing in the 17 southern states unabated despite the May 12 Asaba declaration by the governors. An investigation carried out by the nation showed that nearly 3 weeks after the governor's resolution, there has been no attempt in any of the states to enforce the ban, even in states with existing law banning open grazing. Some of the other states are in the process of passing their own bill into law. Cattle are spotted grazing daily at Alamala in Abeokuta and down the road to Ayetoro in Yewa North and Imeko, all in Ogun State. The situation is the same at Owode Ede, Kelebe Ede Iwo, Okuku, Gbonga, Ileisha, Ara, among others in Osun State. Ifaki, Omoa, Kaba Highway, Ikere Ekiti, Ishe Road, and other major roads in Ekiti State, Emene, Gariki, Akegbewo, and Akuke villages in Enugu State. The cattle herders, some of them boys as young as 10 years old, look unperturbed by the threat to restrict their movement. Although Ekiti State had a law in place as far back as 2016 during the Fayose administration banning open grazing, government appears to be shy of enforcing it. Apart from government's confiscation of a few cows in the early days of the law, nothing much has been done since then to bring culprits to book. A top government official said it was hamstrung because the security agencies with power of enforcement are under the control of the federal government. The source said the government has no means of implementing the ban on open grazing except Amotekun, which he said is ineffective because of the inabilities of its personnel to bear firearms. He added that the police and other security agencies who are authorized by law to carry arms are not committed to the enforcement of the law. Oyo State, which enacted its own anti-open grazing law late 2019, has also not been enforcing it. It was introduced as a solution to hitherto incessant farmer-herder clashes, which stretched the ability and resources of security agencies and community leaders in the state to the limit. However, the special advisor on security to Governor Sheyi Makinde, Mr. Fatai Owosheni, told the nation that the state was smoothly enforcing the law. According to him, the government set up a mediation and reconciliation committee in every local government which resolves open grazing cases. Because of the work of the committees, Owosheni said only few cases, if any, get to litigation level. He said cases that involve murder and kidnapping are handled by the police instead of the committee. In his words, the law is not redundant. It is a standard practice that each local government has a mediation and reconciliation committee in place. They amicably resolve the issues, hence they hardly get to court. But local sources reveal that the state government itself is frustrated by the police, whose lack of enthusiasm in prosecuting offenders or helplessness in handling those accused or arrested for open grazing due to pressure from above has become a source of worry. A source gave an example of a 10-acre cassava farm in Oyo town on which herders grazed their cattle. The owner reported the case to an area commander in Ibadan, whose men moved swiftly to arrest the herders. Although the culprits were traced to a bush, the police failed to arrest them. Instead, their leader, Sereki, was invited to Ibadan for questioning. Instead of honoring police invitation, the source said that his lawyer wrote to the police to the effect that he would represent his client. Before that happened, the police handed off the case, citing pressure from above. Since the power of arrest and prosecution lies with the police, the Oyo State government is sometimes frustrated with failure of the police to arrest and prosecute offenders, the source said. The Ondo State Executive Council has already given consent for the anti-grazing bill, which will be forwarded to the State Assembly for passing. Moves by the Ogun State government to have a law in place to ban open grazing remained stalled. The current State Legislative Assembly, under the leadership of Speaker Kunle Olomo, was at the point of passing the Ogun State Anti-Open Grazing Bill when Assembly workers went on strike and stalled its passage. The bill was sponsored by Ganiyu Oyedeji, representing Ifo 11 state constituency, and it seeks a ban on open grazing of cattle in the state. Speaker Olomo told the nation that the bill recommends quarantining of all animals brought into the state for a period of time and making animals or cattle rearing a business venture, requiring those engaged in it to purchase land and ranch the animals. The police say they have not received directive to enforce ban on open grazing by southern governors. There is no law yet in place against open grazing in Osun State, but the government says it will sanction those grazing in the open. Agriculture Commissioner Adedayo Adewale, speaking during a Herders Farmers Summit organized by the Olowo of Iwo, Oba Abdulrasheed Akambi, recently urged herders to embrace ranching. He said, "We are not necessarily talking about arrest of herders, we are telling herders to embrace ranching. The southern governors met recently about open grazing and ranching. Our government is putting measures in place to stop open grazing. There will be rules that will be moved out to stop open grazing in Osun State. We stakeholders will sit on a round table to discuss sanctions in a few weeks." In Enugu State, it is yet to formalize the ban on open grazing. Attorney General and Commissioner for Justice Melitus Eze did not respond to an inquiry on when the state will legalize the ban on open grazing, as he did not respond to a text message sent to him by the reporter afterwards. When contacted, the spokesman of the Enugu Police Command, Daniel Ndukwe, said the police had not been legally empowered to enforce the ban. He said, "Do you know of any law empowering the police to enforce that? If you have any such law, point it out. Until we have such law, the police cannot do much at the moment." On its part, the Akwa Ibom state government says its effort to enact a law banning open grazing is being stalled by the nationwide strike by parliamentary workers. Information and Strategy Commissioner Emelbong said the state is certainly bound by the decision of the Southern Governors Meeting. And you know that the legislative business has been stalled for a while due to the strike by parliamentary staff. Maybe legislative actions could have been commenced if the assembly was sitting, he said. Like some of the other states already with anti-open grazing laws, the Abia state government has not been putting the legislation into use. The law was passed in 2018 under the leadership of the immediate past Speaker of the State House of Assembly, Chikwendu Kanu. Governor Kezi Ekpezu, at different fora including the visitation of the prelate of Methodist Church, has reaffirmed the commitment of the state to enforcement of the anti-open grazing law of the state. Investigation by our reporter has it that regardless of the signing into law of the anti-open grazing law by the Abia State Governor Dr. Okezi Ikpezu, herders have continued to openly rear their cows in almost across the 17 local government areas of the state. Officials of the Edo State government were unavailable to comment on when the state will have its own law against open grazing. Owerri-based lawyer E.E. Durike expressed support for the Asaba Declaration, saying grazing of cattle should be banned, and the Asaba Declaration by the Southern Governor is clear enough. He advised houses of assembly in the country to make law placing sanctions on herders roaming the streets with their cattle. It's surprising that even after the ban, no enforcement, open grazing still continues. This was one thing that Primate Adele stated, that these governors, they will betray one another. Even Falana stated something that the ban is not enough. It has to be, the law has to be implemented. The report we're getting right now that across all of the states, they are passing the blame, they're just tossing it here and there. We're waiting for this, we're waiting for that. Open grazing is still going on, and we know that this is where the killings, the kidnappings, and all of the criminal activities, this is where they emanate from. Well, my people, let's hear your thoughts down below in the comment section. Thank you once again for your time. Please don't forget to like, share, and to subscribe. Till I come your way again with more updates. Bye.